All right, all right. LDWMMAC and salute to the WMMA universe. It's your boy, the coach. You're live, live, live on the Coach Show, the Coach Show live with Samantha Seff, the Wolf Queen. Wolf Queen in the building. What's going on, Wolf Queen? How are you?
Hey, what's up?
Samantha, I'm glad you took time because I know you got to go train a little bit later today. So you
Yep.
took some time to hang out with us. And your brand new fans, of course, because they're going to be fans. So, Samantha, what is your weight class?
Atom weight division, 105 pounds.
Adam and five, okay, 105 pounds. But you know what? I was looking at some of your fights, and so were you in fights with like fighters that are much bigger than you?
Oh, everybody's usually bigger than me. I'm 5 feet tall. I'm pretty small. And then in my amateur career, I took quite a few fights at 115 just because we were just trying to get the experience before I turned pro, like take whatever I can get. I actually won title belts in the atom weight division and in a straw weight division as well. Um, but yeah, I'm on the small side, but big for 105, like muscular stature wise, but height wise, I'm always the shortest.
Man, Samantha, how you get started fighting? Because when I look at you, I'm sitting here like, man, okay, somebody had to get her into fighting. 'Cause, I mean, you got that look like I just want to beat somebody up.
Yeah, I've always had that look. I always loved fighting, and it was like a dream of mine since I was 14. But at the time, I was really into school. I did well in school, so I just kind of went down that path because I was, um, always told like to follow that path. That's what I should be doing. But I was never passionate for it, and I excelled in school, and it just like it didn't spark a fire in me. So I graduated from Florida State on a Friday, and the very following Monday, I had started training in MMA for like jujitsu, wrestling, kickboxing, all the above.
So you just knew right in your heart then and there that this is what you were gonna do.
Yep, super glad I spent money on my college degrees.
Hey, well, hey, so you have the college degree, but at least you understand some business.
That is true.
Yeah, yeah. At least you understand a little bit of business about the game. Because MMA is a business too as well. As well as the fight game. You got to understand it. So having that degree is good. Okay, so Samantha, I want to talk about a couple of your fights. And okay, okay, you got a couple of people in the building. George, that's probably not the time to discuss your subscription account. Okay, I mean, we got Wolf Queen here. You got to ask us some questions, man. Come on, come on, come on. We got to get off that BS today. All right, they're excited. Okay, so you're 7-4 as an atom weight.
Yep, yep, yep. I won the WMMA Amateur Fighter of the Year back in 2019. Already a year ago, actually. I think that just came up on my memories. And 2020 went in, started my pro career, started fighting there. Looking forward to big things in 2021. Hopefully, UFC adds a atom weight division soon.
Okay, now Sam, now if you want to sit back, and I can hear you now, so you don't have to sit. You want to sit back some? You got me. You're good to go. Okay.
Well, I'm always on edge and ready to go though. So
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So the UFC, they've been throwing that around about starting the atomweight division. They have. They've been throwing it around, but it hadn't quite materialized yet. What if they don't? So now, would you have to do the next best thing and be a strawweight?
And then I am a little bit on the small side for strawweight at 5 foot. But I mean it's honestly a mistake not to add an atom weight division just because like I guarantee that whatever promotion I do fight for, like I always put on a show. That's like end of the day, whenever I fight, it's always an exciting fight. Plus, a lot of fighting is marketability. I'm really good about promoting myself, putting myself out there. I like to give the fans a show because honestly, there is no fight career without the fans. Like nobody wants boring fights. So it sucks that nowadays, fights are in limited venues, limited fans, or no fans. But at least people are still watching it on TV, and at least they're still allowed to have fights.
Hey Sam, I'm kind of glad you said that about the fans. I'm glad because you have a lot of fighters, man. They just, I don't know, especially in WMMA where the sport's not being pushed very much. It is, and we know about some of these fighters, but then like the casual fans, the fun, the hand, the fans that are at home, you're eventually gonna reach those fans at home because you're just doing interviews like this, And it's kind of wild that I already like you because I'm sitting here like, man, she think different than the average fighter. Because you have some fighters that won't do interviews at all, like they just don't want to do them. And
Yeah, it's not a smart career move. I mean, there's a ton of really good fighters out there that people don't even know about unless you're like studying this constantly. And I study my craft, so I watch a lot of fighters out there. But so many people haven't even heard of half of these really good fighters because they're not putting themselves out there. And part of fighting, like it's a dual sided career. You have to be good in the cage and you have to be good outside of the cage as well. And I'm always trying to do stuff, not just for my own gain, but also to help out with other people as well. If I'm going to be in a spotlight position, I want to be able to use that to my advantage and to help other people along the way.
Wolf Queen, and this is really, and when I was doing my research on you, you do a lot of modeling. Like you model. Like not only do you
Instagram model.
I mean, listen. I sat and I said, yo, you know what? She's already got the right step. Like you're already like your business. You thinking? I mean, you beat people up, but then you got your business going. Like you do a lot of modeling. Like could you just talk to us about that?
So it's mostly just my butt because like it's my best feature, and like my face usually has like Velcro marks or black eyes or something like that. So my butt is always, a good option there. But it's also because I'm so small at an atom weight, but like my butt's kind of big, so it got a lot of attention. Primarily because when I first started fighting at atom weight, somebody made a comment about, oh, 105ers can't have an ass, like it doesn't happen. And I'm super petty, so I was like, I'll show you. So my strength and conditioning coach makes fun of me all the time because he's like, we do not squat so you can show your butt pictures. We do it so that you can throw people across the cage. I'm like, we do it for both.
Yeah, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, there's nothing wrong with hey, showing what God gave you. And hey, and I got got a photo. I got one of your photos up, and it shows you, in the queen mode, and shows you, as a model. I mean, you doing big things. You got the idea.
2020 has been a rough year. I'm just trying to, brighten people's days.
Yeah. Hey, so is everybody brightened by the photograph of the whoop queen that's on the screen now? I mean, it's. I mean, tell the truth. I know I am. I am. I'm sure everybody else is. Okay, so I want to talk about. And we'll get to your fights in a minute because I watched and as many as I can find. I'm sitting studying them. I'm like, okay, she can fight. I want to talk about your training and your training partners. All right, who's a training partner that beats you up the most?
Um, Probably it's a toss up between my partner and my coach John because he wants me to be better. So like I understand it, and it's more like he beats up my feelings. But the person like who hits me hardest is probably we were talking about her before, Hannah Cyphers. Man, she's a strawweight in the UFC, and she hits me harder than like even the guys I spar with. It's incredible.
Wow, wow, man, Hannah Cyphers. Hey, we know Hannah Cyphers. Hannah Cyphers came off, pretty good impressive performance against Mackenzie Dern. She was winning the fight. My opinion. Yeah, she's doing a good job. She did a great job. Just kind of fell short, but that's a good training partner to have, especially when y'all doing some stand up.
Yep.
Especially now, do you guys? Does she pick your brain for like the jujitsu stuff?
And then, um, you've seen Hannah's interviews. She's not a big talker, man. So we just
Yeah.
kind of like train and like we talk mostly about like farm life. Like we hunt over here, and at her farm they process a lot of deer. So like probably not typical fight talk and not typical girl talk either. It's kind of like a weird like oh like how many did you kill this week? Type of thing.
Oh man, farm girl stuff. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. I used to spend time under my grandma had a farm, so that farm work, but that's tough work.
Yeah,
That's
that fresh meat's real good too.
yeah, it is. When I used to eat meat, but it's hey, everything else tastes so fresh, man. But it's been a while though, man. I ain't been on the farm in a minute, man. Hey, so you a gun shooter too? Do you actually shoot guns?
And then I need to get more into that. My partner is he like builds guns, shoots guns. We have like a arsenal.
Wolf Queen, come on now, you got to get out there to the gun range. I mean,
I
you
was
got to.
literally just talking about that today, talking about getting my concealed carry and all that. Like
Wow.
literally just a couple hours ago.
Okay, now you got questions from the crowd. That's why I'm looking down. Trust me, I'm focused. They got questions. Okay, first question, Wolf Queen. They want to know: would you fight Alicia Zapatella half pint if you ever go to Invicta?
Yeah, absolutely. I always watch the atom weight division and Invicta. I'm really big on following that.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's a good question. I mean, y'all can kind of, elaborate. Y'all can go into details in the questions. I mean, come on. Come on now. I know
I
y'all love the picks,
think,
but okay. Huh?
yeah, if somebody's in your weight class and you're not willing to fight them, like you shouldn't be fighting. It's not like if somebody's asking me if I'm willing to fight somebody that's like two weight classes above me, probably not. But if they're in my weight class and I say no, like why am I even fighting?
Yeah. Why are you even fight? So, okay, okay. And I agree with that. Hopefully, though, eventually, you get your run and you really, really get everything situated. They get that atomweight division in the UFC. Man, it's going to be an open audition for a job. Like, are you pretty confident, about your chances? How you stack up against the other atom weights in the world?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like if I'm not confident in myself, why am I stepping into an octagon? One of my coaches is always big on like anybody willing to fight you is always because they believe that they can win. So like don't sign that paper if you don't think you have a chance. Same with I'm not going to put myself out there and try to make it into a big promotion if I don't think I had a chance.
Man, Wolf Queen. Okay, now this little green strip across the screen. Okay, you have been given $5 by all the Ray's George Page. He's a brand new fan of yours. Okay, he's a brand new fan, and he came with gifts. Okay, seriously, you're gonna get that. I'm gonna give it to you. Okay, I'm so serious. He came bearing gifts. Robert Henry, the poet. He's a poet, by the way. He says, Samantha, what's your favorite way to finish a fight? Strikes or submission? Damn, good question.
Um, I definitely like I'm big on wrestling and jujitsu, so I love getting the fight to the ground. However, I'm never gonna complain if a fight ends, you know. Um, but I always like to finish a fight. If it goes to decision, like I'm never happy with a decision win. Like that is one thing that I'll be beating myself up about after. But if I pull off like I was real happy when I won my title fight at atomweight by triangle because it's one of my favorite moves. It's kind of what I get known for at my gym. So that was like a real happy win for me versus the other submission wins I had.
Wow, amazing. You know what? I want to talk. You mentioned something before about, hey, you take on all comers. I'm gonna tell you, you fought an atom weight, and I didn't think she was an atom weight, but you fought this woman. You fought Elise Reed, and I'm gonna tell you, you went in and you fought hard. The size discrepancy was pretty big, but I noticed that you got irate. You got so irate in that fight because Elise was standing over you, or she was trying to get into your guard, and you were trying to, put in a triangle, and the referee thought that you had enough, and I saw what you were doing because that whole fight, you were setting this girl up for a triangle, and then you start transitioning into an armbar, and there were times in the fight where you almost sunk it in, you had it, and so I thought that the fight should have continued because I thought you had a chance to put that triangle or armbar in there. I mean, you got to tell me your thoughts about that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm never gonna be, upset with the ref. They always have to make the right call and protect the fighters, and things like that. However, like my coaches know, I'm never gonna like say I had enough or stop it. My one coach says that's like my downfall because I'm like, no, I'll keep going, like it's fine. So I actually get really upset when I see other fighters like tap due to strikes or things of that nature, or like refuse to get off the stool in between rounds. Because we literally signed a contract that says like you're willing to die in the cage, and I 100% am. But that's because I'm very passionate about everything I do being like full commitment. I don't go into it's a job, and I don't go into any job like expecting to just like barely scrape by. I always go in trying to be like, employee of the month and things like that. So like that, I mean, you would literally have to like drag my corpse out of a cage before I'm like, I've had enough.
Dang, so you like the female version of Justin Gaethje, huh?
And then, yeah, I mean, I'll take that compliment all day. But yeah, I mean, I go in there to fight, like not to quit.
Yeah, that's his motto. He said he's not tapping, and he said the only way to beat him is to put him out. That's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much exactly how I feel. Jujitsu competitions, I compete all the time there too. That's a little bit different because since my goal is fighting and being in the cage, if I feel in danger or something, I'll be more likely to tap in a jujitsu competition. But when it comes to a fight, like, man, that's what like I go through these hard camps. You don't just like take a fight and like a day later be like, all right, I'm ready. Like you go through camps to practice and get ready for it, and the camps are always way harder than the fight anyway. If it's not, then you did it wrong.
It seems like your opponents, man, your move of choice though is that triangle, and your guard, man, you got a nasty, nasty guard. It's extremely nasty, and you're extremely comfortable fighting off your back. Okay, and I don't want to tell all your secrets. I don't want to tell it. Okay, Is that something that you just been drilling since the day you started?
It's more of just, muscle memory. Like, my body kind of knows where to be, and I learn from every single fight. So I can name like the notes of every mistake I've made and how I've worked to fix it. So anytime something hasn't worked in a fight, I've definitely worked to fix that. And I'm working a lot on like getting to a more dominant position. And my elbows are kind of pointy, so it's
Mm.
much better to throw them from the top than being off of your back anyway. But that was just because I competed so much in jujitsu, and you end up there a lot in jujitsu competitions. So I'm definitely more focused now on my wrestling aspect and staying more in the dominant top position anyway.
Yeah, poor Eamon Golding. I mean, you didn't give her a chance. You throw it right in that triangle, man, and that was it. I mean,
Yeah, also because my ref that fight, he was, big time UFC ref, and I was like really excited. I wanted to impress him.
oh, you talking about Dan Mergliotta?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Dan Mergliotta. And that's kind of funny, because normally, you see him in Bellator or you see him in the UFC, but he referees fights. I mean, I think the guy just loves refereeing and being a part of the game. I don't think he cares where they
No,
assign him.
he was literally like him and his wife. I met her too, like literally the nicest people. But I was totally like fangirling the whole time, and everybody was like, "Pay attention to the fight," and I was like, "Oh my god, it's Dan."
Hey, have you ever been in there with Jason Herzog?
No, but I would also freak out for him
Yeah,
too.
that's the best referee on the God's Hot Sun. I say him, Herb Dean, Dan Mergliotta. I think those are my top three referees. Wow,
Yeah, they gotta be. I mean,
wow,
they're like legends in the game.
amazing, amazing. Okay, so this run as an atom weight, um, it's been a tough one. It's been a tough road for you.
Absolutely, yeah. But I've never been one to shy away from adversity.
Nah, you don't, and it's clearly in all your fights, even the fights that you come up short, you seem to have this type of you know I don't know. Your name fits, Wolf. You just I don't know. You go into a mode, where it's like where you think you're out of a fight, but then you're never really out of a fight. I noticed that even when you're injured severely, you're never out of a fight. So it's kind of like, wow, I think you're a dangerous opponent. Not just because I'm interviewing you, but I think you're very dangerous for anybody. Um, and I've seen you. It's like your form, your technique is getting better. Your stand up is actually starting to, really come together. From the fights that I've watched, and I always watch them in order from, first date to last date. Your
Smart.
your stand up, man. Your stand up, especially, how you're getting your entries to get your takedowns. It's getting better. I mean, is that because of your partner, your significant other? He's been helping you with that part.
I really try to focus on, like you said, not just being dangerous, but being dangerous everywhere. So whenever I feel like I'm faltering a little bit in one aspect, I try to work on chaining stuff together. And I mean, I have such great coaches. Like I can't, applaud my coaches enough. And I train at, I go to different gyms to get different looks and work with a bunch of different people. I have like, a boxing coach I work with, the MMA coach I work with, a jiu-jitsu instructor. I go and train, with Hannah and her team. I have a strength and conditioning coach, different things like that. Who, I mean, they're all hard on me, and they tell me like, this is what you need to work on because this is what's not. And I've even since my last fight, I could honestly say I've fixed so many things since that fight, which wasn't even that long ago. And I already know like my next fight, it's going to be like a completely different person.
Wow. Now, how often do you do the jujitsu tournaments? Oh, okay, George, I see your question.
Um, so before everything was shut down, I was competing like every weekend
Yeah.
almost.
Wow.
Um, and even what was it like a week after? Yeah, I think it was just 1 week after my last fight. I went and did like an ADCC rules style tournament. Super fun, but
Wow.
I just constantly always try to compete. I'm hoping that there's more competitions in 2021, and obviously if I have a fight coming up, I have to be more lenient about like not throwing myself into everything I see. But it's super fun. I even take a bunch of like super fights, which is like the one-on-one jujitsu matches, that are advertised. So I think the most I competed in 1 year was like 27 times, 26, 27 times, something like
Good
that.
grief. That's a lot.
Yeah, it was pretty much almost every other weekend.
But that's your passion, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a side job, it's my main job. So it's not like I'm doing it as a hobby. So it's a little bit different when you're like, being a competitor versus somebody who's doing this to, escape the everyday life.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I'm gonna ask you some technical questions in a minute now, because I'm gonna give you a scenario, because you got to help me out, because I'm getting ridiculed to this day. George Page, he says, if you weren't doing MMA, what would you be doing?
Um, so I get made fun of for this a lot because like I'm supposed to be like so badass and tough. But I'm actually really good in the kitchen. I love cooking and I love baking. And I actually have my own um that I hand wrote and then typed up and organized into 24 different categories. And it's color coded. It's my own cookbook. And I make like everything from like fancy cakes to like big dinners and meals. Thanksgiving I cook everything. I don't let anybody bring food over because they're not going to do it right. And I watch like I was getting made fun of whenever I'm cutting weight and I'm on the treadmill or on the bike. I'm watching like food tutorials.
Okay. Now, you have a hater. His name's George Page, and he says that he can outcook you anywhere. I mean,
It ain't happening. I cook every different culture. I just made latkes for Hanukkah. Like, what up?
George, she just made latkes. Me, Joe, person, George, I don't think you can. I think just give the woman her props, please, George. Just give her her props. Okay, she can cook. I'm just kidding. No, George is definitely on the bandwagon. He's a fan, and he's there. Okay, so I want to ask you a technical question about jujitsu, your favorite thing. Okay, no fighter I've ever asked this, they can never help me with this. Okay, um, I was put into a Kimura. Okay, by
Mhm.
jujitsu master. The guy weighs about 125 pounds if he drinks water. I'm a bigger guy than him. I outweigh him probably by about, I don't know, 50 pounds or so. So I go in and I'm thinking I can really dominate him because of my size. Nah, he puts me in a Kimura. Okay, laughing at me. He's laughing the whole time. The guy's about maybe 60 years old. Put me in this Kimura, laughing. And I tell you, I felt helpless. I couldn't get out of it. How do I get out of a Kimura?
So it depends. Was the Kimura from guard? Like, was he on his back or was he mounted on top of you?
No, he was on top.
Okay, so if he's mounted on top of you, it depends on if
Uh,
he's off to the side or like full mount. But you cannot, your arm, once it's at 90 degrees, your shoulder can't touch the mat. So if you allow your arm to get to 90 degrees, there's pretty much nothing you can do at that point
oh
because if
wow.
the are putting your shoulder to the mat, you're kind of screwed from that point. So what you have to do is you have to avoid them being able to hike your elbow up past your shoulder where your arm is going to go at 90 degrees.
Wow. So your response is like all the other fighters, because Sabina Mazo told me, "Hey, just don't get put in the first place."
Oh, that's
Um,
what I was about to say. Like, do I get
oh my God.
it?
Oh my
Like a
God. Okay, 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 okay. I'm gonna ask you one more because I don't want you to give out all your special secrets. That's that. You got to pay for it. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. How do I get out of a body lock? The body lock. I'm telling. I can't breathe.
So if it's a body lock and they're on your back, what you do is you roll to the side that they have the figure four on. And if they're dumb and they don't let go of the figure four, you can actually like pop their knee or ankle lock them by just rolling to that side. If they're good at jujitsu, they're going to keep switching sides. You just got to be faster. If it's a body lock from guard, not legal in all jujitsu competitions, but in some, and I've done this in the ones that it's been legal and in MMA fights, you pick them up and power bomb them. It's so fun.
Oh man, yeah, power bomb. Now, aren't you afraid that they can maybe hold on to you and really lock your arm up and transition into an armbar quickly? Do you ever worry about that?
Not if you keep your elbows safe. They're only going to be able to transition in the armbar if you're leaving your elbows away from your body on the power bomb. But I like model my whole jujitsu after like a T Rex and keep everything in and tight.
Okay, so you like to do that old Jessica Andrade type stuff?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man. Like that's one of my big moves. So I was like, oh, so.
Oh gosh. Okay. So you're really into domestic violence, and you're doing a seminar, and I'm gonna put it up on the screen. Okay, and it's actually, I put it up on the screen here, and guys, y'all can see it. It's hold on, it's up here. Uh, wow. Okay, it's Samantha Wolf Queen Seff seminar. It's January the 9th, 2021. Price is $50. All proceeds go to support Defy and Conquer in their mission to help female survivors of violence reclaim and reclaim power over their lives. Hey, could you talk more about that?
Yeah, so a big part of why I wanted to get into fighting and do all that was I really like devoting myself to good causes, and my two biggest ones are like female empowerment and my other one is mental health awareness and like suicide awareness and stuff like that, because I don't think it gets talked about enough. I actually have a tattoo across my chest about that one specifically, and I've talked about it in post fight interviews. And then when it comes to female empowerment and domestic violence, it's not enough that we uh, teach people to treat each other well, because we all know that's not how the world works, but to give somebody the tools to be able to empower themselves. And this seminar is especially really important to me, because after I was approached about it and signed up to do it, a couple weeks later, a good friend of mine who's a local purple belt, was going through issues with separating from their brown belt husband, and ended up getting put in the hospital where she's had to have multiple surgeries on her face, and almost didn't make it. And I reached out to Defy and Conquer, which is the foundation, the nonprofit that I will be teaming up with for the seminar, and they agreed to donate half the proceeds to my friend Sin's GoFundMe as well, which honestly meant so much to me. I couldn't ask to be partnered up with like a better foundation for this seminar.
Wow, amazing, amazing. You're one of a handful of fighters that actually get involved in that. I know there are a few fighters that do self-defense seminars. I know Valentina Shevchenko does quite a few. I know Alexa Grasso does a few. About what do you do when you're in certain situations, and wow, that's amazing that you're a part of that. Seminar is only $50. Come on, man, y'all learning like high level jujitsu.
And
I
if you
mean,
can't make it, there's also a link to donate to the foundation that's on the website, that if you click on the seminar page, it'll take you to that as well.
oh, okay, there's a website. Okay, wait a minute, what's the website? Because I can actually get that on the screen here.
It's directly if you click on, and it's shared on my Instagram page as well, in my link in the About Me section.
Okay.
And if you click on that, it takes you to the seminar page where it talks about purchasing tickets for the seminar, or if you're unable to attend the seminar, to donating towards the foundation and towards my friend Sin. So there are multiple ways to try and help out.
Okay, guys. Her Instagram page is on the screen now. Listen, 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 listen. It's right here. It's been here the whole time. So there's no reason why, you're not following her. Okay, why you're not going to check this out. Hey, listen, it's definitely for, the proceeds are very good. Um, yeah, so divide and conquer. So let me ask you this: Do you do like seminars, like one-on-one seminar, one-on-one training, or do you do like just seminars for people that want to learn and understand jujitsu?
I do a little bit of everything. I'll do sometimes I get asked to teach at women only events. Sometimes I get asked at co-ed events. I get asked for private lessons. I'm big on private lessons with kids, because I think they look at me like, oh, she's my size. I want to learn from her, because I'm the size of a child. So I get a lot of like inquiries about doing private lessons with kids trying to learn a little bit about striking or wrestling or jujitsu and stuff like that. So that's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, you got to make the bag now. Somebody inquire. You got to make the bag. You got to make the bag. Make sure they check out okay though. Maybe take your significant other with you. Bring him and you know, because people, believe it or not, people want to learn jujitsu. It's kind of crazy because I know here we're at, we're close, and jujitsu is starting to pick up in this area. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm getting real big, and like to me it's the best basis for like understanding different, good jujitsu school. They'll work stuff from the feet as well as the ground and stuff like that in different scenarios. They'll work judo and wrestling into the jujitsu. Some even incorporate the Gracie self-defense method, which has a whole curriculum on self-defense. I'm fortunate to train at a school that we do it all, from like Muay Thai to wrestling to jujitsu to takedowns and everything in between.
Yeah, hey, you guys learning stuff from the legendary Hickson Gracie. That's my favorite jujitsu practitioner, man. Especially his motivational speeches. They the best.
And then yeah, one of our black belts like trained directly under like Helson, who was
Oh
like
man.
a phenom, and like some of the stuff he knows, like he's so knowledgeable. And we have two other black belts at our academy as well.
Okay. Now George, she said for the GoFundMe, George, she said you can go to her Instagram, and via her Instagram you can actually click on the link. Okay. To what she's doing. It's at the top, and you click on that, and then it gives you right to the GoFundMe account. No, she's not. She don't want to beat up kids. Okay. I am him 27 says I love Wolf, amazing animal. Tay Tay Brown has just subscribed to you, man. Um, okay, so yeah, you got some fans here. All right, so now I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions, and then I know you got to get to training. You want to mentally prepare for that. Man, I've actually enjoyed this because I've actually learned a lot. Well, I've learned something from you, and I try to do that from every interview. Um, if there's somebody right now that your dream fight in the atomweight division, who would that person be? And you got to tell me why.
Um, as far as like a dream fight, honestly, the only one that I could think of that I for sure would want is any rematches because I have a big thing on, and so does my coach about getting that win back because I would never take a fight in the first place if I didn't think I could win, and I know where I made mistakes in order to fix those. And there's definitely some fights that I'm like I need to redo at this shot, which I've done that in my amateur career. I lost a fight when I was under a different team against somebody I should never lost to. I was unprepared, and then I ended up winning my first title by rematching them and submitting them within like a minute of the first round because I was like, nope. So honestly, there's no better feeling in the world than getting that win back. I've done it in jujitsu a bunch of times as well. Like, there's no way I'm gonna let you like, mollywop me more than once. Like, it's because I made a mistake and I'm coming back and I'm definitely gonna make a statement.
I think you owe at least, I think you owe at least reading that. I mean, sorry, I think you owe at least, a rematch. Yeah, I definitely believe you owe her one, big time. Because me personally, I think you were gonna get I think you were gonna get that armbar. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, and
I thought you
I,
were gonna get it.
I study my fights. I know where I went wrong, and I'm ready to like fix that.
Okay. Well, your momentum not gonna be stopped. I mean, come on, it's not gonna be stopped. And pretty soon you're gonna have Shannon Knapp calling, and she's gonna be like, Samantha, I got to fight for you. So now, are you the type of fighter that you're prepared for short notice fights, any fights? Do you stay prepared throughout, the whole year?
Yeah, I don't understand people that don't do that personally. Like, you may not be as strict with your diet and stuff, but if you allow yourself to put on like 30 pounds between fights, like how dedicated are you really? Uh, but like I said, I like to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, so I'm very good about preparing my meals. And when I have a fight coming up, I'm real strict on that. And I train constantly, like all day, every day. My biggest thing that I actually do that's incorrect is I need to sometimes like take a step back and like breathe a little bit and relax. But I'm terrible at relaxing.
Okay. Now, me and George Page, we have a change of heart. We want to know, how can we get some of that food? How much do we have to pay to get some of that food that you keep telling us about? I mean, we got to,
I mean,
got.
I definitely post a lot of photos of it on my Instagram, and I'll send a bunch of photos too, because like some of my food is real good looking. Honestly, if my house were to catch fire before I saved my title belts, I'd probably save that cookbook because I worked so hard on it.
My God, my God. Hey, George, we get to look at photographs, okay? We get to look at photographs of the food. That's okay. We'll sit back and we'll wonder what it tastes like. That's okay. You won't sell us any. George, she don't want to sell it to us. Okay. George Page, he says, you know your country because you said Mollywop.
North Carolina rubbed off on me.
Well, I mean, he's in North Carolina, so I don't even know what he's talking about. Okay. So I
Well,
think he says that.
I lost all my street cred. I grew up in Miami and I used to have street cred. And I definitely like now I watch what was I watching? I was watching like Schitt's Creek the other day and they were like doing like the proposal scene and I was just sobbing watching it. I was like, I have no more street cred.
All right. Hey, Samantha, you ever have people? Okay, let me ask two part. You ever have people walk up to you and just, have you had somebody just try to, like take you on in the street, or, like if they think, oh, I can take on this MMA fighter, and then you have to, go whoop them.
See, I'm always waiting for that to happen, but unfortunately for me, I'm too busy training, so I'm never really out anywhere. I'm always like in the gym, and like that's it. So I mean, or driving to and from certain trainings. Sometimes I'll drive like an hour or two just to get, sometimes 3 hours, depending on where the training sessions are. And my schedule is always like pretty booked. Like this weekend, we're driving down south because we have one of the guys from our gym competing in Masters Worlds. So I'm heading down south on the road trip with them. So I'm just like, I don't have enough free time to be out where somebody would even confront me.
Okay, and one last question. George can't let this go. He says, do you do delivery? My God, man.
Well, considering my name is Wolf Queen and not DoorDash, I'm gonna go with no. Um, but one day when I'm retired from fighting, I'll probably go into something in the culinary world.
My God. Well, hey, I tell you. Molly Whopping. Yeah, that's what the old heads used to say. Well, listen, Samantha, I thoroughly enjoyed this interview. It's getting close to 4 o'clock. You gotta go. 'Cause I know you gotta train hard.
Yeah, I got training tonight.
Yep, yep, yep. You told me, and I remember because you're important. Samantha, you got anybody you want to shout out? Samantha.
Just a shout out to my gym, Shell Shock BJJ, my coaches, John Shell, Scott St. Clair, Josh Robinson, Tony Henshaw, Bruno Suarez. A shout out to Knuckle Up Boxing Gym, my coach there, Trevor Hayes. And then Hannah's Gym, Grace Martial Arts. They let me pop in there all the time. Tiago Silva and Joel Garcia, they're awesome.
Hmm.
And my strength and conditioning coach, Cricket. So I see you tomorrow. Please, please, please don't make me do too much cardio.
Make her do cardio cricket. Give it to her. Give it to her. All that you can give to her. All that you can give to her, please. Because, we just, and George wants that too because he can't have any of the food. Awesome. Awesome interview. Samantha, can you give me like a real energetic, channel drop? Like, I don't know. Like, say Samantha, Seff, Wolf Queen, you're watching Coach Shelton Harrison. But it's
And
got to
then,
sound good.
all right, listen, follow me on Instagram. You'll see more butt pics, and then you better follow Coach Shelton up over here, especially if he's going to keep sharing links of me and my glorious derriere. You'll miss out if you're not following him.
And Samantha, I was actually gonna put the photograph where you turn back, like where you're showing your back muscles, and I was gonna do that, and I said, nah, she might think, but now see, when I interview you next time,
Michelle Chop Photography, shout out. You did awesome. You made me look good.
man, look, hey, you okay with makeup, without makeup, and you're a hell of a fighter. Okay, you got a lot going for you, and I definitely can't wait till when you get back in the octagon again. And Samantha, I'll keep up with you. So at least if you can tell us, do you let people put their logos on you? Sponsors.
I do. And especially like, you already know the biggest area on my body. So if I was you, I'd look out for maybe getting a pair of shorts so we can emblazon the booty a little bit.
Okay,
Really get advertisements going.
so I can put my logo on your ass. Is that what you're saying?
Isn't that what people want? Like give the people what they want.
Hey, I'm interested. I want to put a logo on your derriere. I want to do this. And
Well, this was my coach Josh. He's been in the MMA game for like years, and he was the one that was like advertise that. So shout out Josh.
okay, you think I'm kidding, so you let me know. I guess your manager or whoever. How can we do that? And you give me a price, and I will, throw some stuff at you, and also give a lot of fighters free gear. I give them stuff to work out in. But I definitely want a logo on your next uniform. I definitely want it.
For sure.
Okay, all right. Please don't forget about us peasants. That's what George says. Don't forget about us peasants over here, because we're gonna support you.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Hey, there it is, guys. Samantha, Wolf Queen Self Seminar, January the 9th, 2021, $50. Hey, be there. Be there, or, be
Or
there
don't
anyway. Oh, go ahead. Say it, say it, say it, say it.
or donate if you can't.
Donate. George Page, there you go. You gave this woman hell a whole interview. Donate, please. Peace. Thank